All right, I am tremendously excited to talk to you guys today. Just to introduce myself really quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is John Godwin. I run a company called Premier Opportunity Inc., and I specialize in helping new entrepreneurs who are in their first 8 years of business typically become their best selves and specifically systematize their business so that they can scale it and stabilize their results and their revenue. I'm really excited. I'm going to dig into this concept of decision fatigue. I was speaking about it a little bit over the weekend. And quite honestly, I was intending to give a workshop on morning routines and setting up your day for power, and I ended up starting on this concept of decision fatigue, and I felt like I was taking the message in two different directions. So I wanted to take today to really dig in exclusively on this decision fatigue concept, and tomorrow I'll get more in detail on the morning routine so we can bring a little bit more clarity to each of those two messages. Just so you guys know, today I'm trying something new. I'm recording live on YouTube and on Facebook at the same time. I've never done that before, so bear with me, and I'm going to try to give as much eye contact to both cameras as possible at the same time. But let's dig into decision fatigue here. What is it? Okay, the brain has a limited capacity to be able to make decisions at a given time, and what ends up happening is, especially in America here, we have a tendency to want to have lots of options and lots of things to choose from, and we value that as part of our freedom of choice. But what ends up happening is that we only have a limited capacity. Once we get to a certain point, we've made a certain number of decisions, the brain just can't make any more. It runs out of juice, and what ends up happening is it feels overwhelmed, we feel tired, and the brain starts to take shortcuts. And usually what the shortcuts look like is either making bad decisions by simply taking whatever the easiest route may be. And you guys can imagine lots of times that you've been talking to friends, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, trying to pick out a dinner option, right? And you're going back and forth. What do you want? What are you in the mood for? What do you feel like? And eventually you're like, just whatever, we'll go wherever. And you compromise and settle, not because you wanted to make the other person happen necessarily, but you're just tired of deciding, so you just pick something, right? And that's fine for dinner, not a big deal when it comes to dinner time. But you definitely don't want to make big decisions that way, for sure. The other shortcut that the brain takes is doing nothing. And how many times have we just completely shut down and been like, I'm not dealing with it, we'll do it tomorrow. And again, if it's just a dinner plan, whatever. But if you're running a business, you absolutely do not want to make big decisions that way. And you don't want to have decisions made for you out of simple convenience or exhaustion, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple practical keys specifically for the morning, getting it started the right way. This is relevant to what I was covering over the weekend, and I want to share with you just a brief story of how this affected me even today. By the way, it's Monday, April 16th right now for anyone who's coming back later and watching the recording, okay? But the first thing that I do is I make some of my easy, simple decisions the night before, okay? So what I like to do is I set out my outfit that I'm gonna wear in the morning the night beforehand. I decide the night before I go to sleep, so that I don't need to waste any of my decision power in the morning on that, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. I also decide the night before what I'm gonna eat. Even last night, I made myself dinner after a workout. I also made myself a sandwich that I was going to have for lunch, and I set out the breakfast I was going to have this morning, so that, again, I didn't have to worry about any of that first thing today. Another component is having a good, solid morning routine. And again, I'm going to dig into that in more detail tomorrow, so I'll walk through with you exactly what I do in my morning routine. I'll also share a couple of key concepts to help you design and set up your own morning routine, but I have that all laid out. In fact, last night, I wrote down exactly what I was going to do step by step by step this morning. And this morning, by the way, I typically wake up at 5:30. Today, I had to drive out 2 hours to a campus that was 2 hours away to do some work at a college campus. And I woke up at 3:30 this morning, and just knowing that before I went to bed, I was thinking to myself, I want to make sure that I'm set up so I can just execute in the morning, get done what I need to get done, and be on the road by 4:45 this morning. And that's the last step, is deciding exactly what needs to be done at every step of the day. So I mapped this out actually last night, So I'll just show you here. This is my planner, and you can see that it's Monday morning. I've already got most of my stuff filled in for the entire week, at least for the most part in detail. But for Monday, I'm gonna zoom in on both cameras here so you can see it. I had laid out exactly what I needed to get done during a specific window of time. I had a list of things to do. Okay, so here's how my morning went today. I woke up at 3:30. I typically, the first 30 minutes are just for me. That's where I'm getting myself together. So typically 30 minutes after I wake up is when I start being productive, and I plan for that because I know I'm not the kind of guy who just jumps out of bed ready to go. I wish I were, right? 4:45 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. That was just on autopilot. I got in the car, drove to the campus, did the work at the campus. I had two things that I wanted to accomplish in the car. Specifically, they were phone calls, and I do have a headset, so I was not driving with a phone to my ear, just FYI. But I'll share with you, for me, I got home at 3:30, came in the house, and immediately kind of lost my direction. I was like, man, what do I do now? And I'm thinking to myself, I've got 2 hours to do stuff. What do I need to do? And I kind of lost my direction for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then I reminded myself, oh yeah, I wrote this stuff all on my planner. All I need to do is look at the planner and do what it says. And I had 3 activities laid out. By the way, this video is one of the 3 activities. So I was like, all right, cool. The decision has been made. I don't need to choose anymore. So I just started doing the things, right? And again, this video is one of them. And then I'll just share with you after I record this. I'm going to get it posted. I'll get it promoted so that people see it. And then I'm going to head to my office and run a meeting. And what I have in my calendar for this evening is running a meeting from 6 o'clock to 7:30 for my staff, and then go into the gym. And I already decided last night I'm doing a pull workout. I know exactly what exercises I'm gonna do, what intensity, what reps. All that stuff has already been decided. And in fact, to make it easier for myself to follow through on the decision, I'm gonna put on my gym clothes. As soon as this recording is done and everything is finished with getting it promoted, I'm gonna put on my gym clothes. I'm gonna run the meeting in my gym clothes, and my staff, they've been working with me for a couple years, so they're not gonna judge me for that. I don't always run meetings in my gym clothes. But again, I did that specifically because I woke up at 3:30 a.m. I can already tell you right now that at 7:30 p.m., I'm not gonna want to go to the gym, but if the decision's already been made, it's that much easier to follow through and to execute. And then of course, I'll get home between 9 and 9:30, depending on exactly how long the workout takes. And then I'll have about an hour to an hour and a half to spend with my wife. And for me, what's really important is making sure that I execute my day. And today is a longer day than normal, and I want to make sure I've still got some of my decision power left over for her so that we can have meaningful conversation and work on all the things that we want to work on as a family unit together. So I just wanted to share with you, that's why decision fatigue is so prevalent on my mind, why it's something that I'm really working on eliminating to as much as I can, and making sure I keep myself fresh for the big decisions that I need to make in the big important areas that are important in my life. I hope that you can take this. I hope you can apply it to your business and yourself. And I hope that you guys will subscribe, that you'll like the video, and I hope you'll come back and join me again, because tomorrow we're going to dig into more detail on morning routine. And over the course of this week, I'll continue digging in to business systems to help you stabilize your revenue and be able to scale. Talk to you guys soon. See you.